What's going on YouTube? Today's video, we do have a portable AC comparison video. Today in this video, we are going to be comparing the Dreo AC319s versus the Hisense portable air conditioner. Both of these are very similar when it comes to specifications. They're both 8,000 BTU units. They both offer remotes. They're both Wi-Fi enabled. The Hisense retails for $480. The Dreo retails for $390. So with that taken into account for, we're going to go ahead and show you the breakdown on wind, power, cost for the wattage per day, per week, per month, like our usual, and as well as the most important, sound. Is this audibly good? Which one's better for when it comes to sound? So everything you need to know within this video is right here. Let's jump into it. So these are the functions here on top. You have power, mode, cool, dry, and fan. You have the temperature here. So 61, it shows you an accurate representation of what the temperature is at right now in the room. So right now it says it's 82. You can change the temperature there. You have the fan speeds, which you can control right here. High, medium, and low. Timer and sleep indicator there as well. You have modes here. So you have the dehumidification, regular fan, and then your AC. And it has those indicators there at the top. Right now we're on fan speed 2, so we could change that fan speed by pressing this. And now we're on fan speed 3 for higher current. It's more powerful. We also have a sleep mode. If you turn it on, it shuts off the display, puts it at the first mode, and makes it super quiet. It says here on the front as well, 82 degrees in the room, but we have it set to 61. In terms of performance, it is working really well. But you can hear what it sounds like. Which it is way louder than the Dreo. This also does have washable filters on the back as well. So you can go to wash it. And you can see a little size comparison between the two units. So the Dreo is smaller. You have a display here on the bottom, or the front, I guess you could say, on and off all those. You have two blade little openings to oscillate automatically. They both come with a remote. This one has a magnetic. The Hisense, it'll automatically oscillate back to close, which is really helpful at least. That way you're not getting any dust into the unit itself. The Hisense is rated 1,140 watts, and it was on the max mode for the other version. So let's go ahead and put it on max for this as well. You can probably hear it side by side. This one is slightly less loud rather than the Hisense. Obviously these units are still going to be loud. If you guys made it this far, I would appreciate if you dropped a like on the video. You don't have to subscribe, but it'd mean a lot to me. And even if you want to comment, that'll make my year. Let's jump back into the video. Louder than the other one. You have oscillation function that's automatic. So if you turn it on here, it'll oscillate on its own to be able to cool down the room a lot better. Since it has that vertical throw, as opposed to the other one where it's only pushing straight up and at an angle. This one's actually pushing out vertically. Again, Dreo also has the washable filter. So it's easy to clean the filters on the back, and you can see they just both perform really well. We did a 30-minute test on the Dreo. It dropped the room in 3 degrees in 30 minutes. We got the same performance on the other unit, 3 degrees in 30 minutes. So in terms of performance for both of these units, they're basically identical, which makes sense, but you're basically taking two things into consideration, or a few things into consideration. The looks on Dreo. Dreo looks better, it's built better, it's smaller, and you have an app. So you have better convenience and it's just nicer. The Hisense is bigger, louder, slightly. It doesn't have an app, but everything else is pretty much the same. Same amount of performance, very similar amount of wattage, except, you can see what's not identical. The looks, the Hisense still performs pretty good. All right, as far as wind speed, we're just gonna do the max on both of these units, so whatever they can possibly do. Alright, so the actual max throw for this, when it comes to the fan speed, that way you're actually, pushing it a lot. We're on the max mode for both of these when we're doing the test. We are getting about 13.2 miles per hour. So that's the max mode, which is very close to actual Dreo fan speeds. So the fact that this is an AC and outputting a powerful amount, just like a fan, that's better than Dyson, and that's better than Lasco and some other fans like that. If you've seen my videos, In terms of wattage, this is just under 1,000 watts. We're gonna round it off to 950 watts. But right now it hasn't peaked past 940. Yeah, so even when we turn on oscillation, it's still under 950 watts. So giving the wattage a lot less than what Hisense offers. So we're on the highest fan speed, and we're on the lowest possible temperature in the AC power. Let's go to measure the fan speed. This one's actually really good. So even in terms of performance, we're getting 13.2 miles per hour, which is the exact same amount as Dreo. Because it's the same amount of performance, you just have to take into consideration for the wattage, the looks, and the price. So this is for the Hisense. We are drawing over 1,000 watts, and it's continuing to climb. That'll get closer to 1,100 watts like it's rated. So we'll let that go a little bit further. But 13.2 miles per hour on this mode, it makes sense that they have the same amount of performance within our 30-minute test. It dropped 3 degrees in the room. Of course, it does vary on the size of the room, but this rated is 10,000 BTU. The other one is rated at 8,000 BTU. So yes, this one is a higher BTU unit, but it's the exact same performance as Dreo, and Dreo has an 8,000 BTU rated capacity. It looks like this one is 1,042 watts. We'll round it up to 1,050. And even when I was talking, you guys could also be able to see whether it's loud or... Let's take a look at the back of these units. 2 washable filters here. Right here is actually where the little coils and everything else like that is. The same thing for the Dreo. So pretty much the same exact layout. They're both super easy, clean filters. You have a drainage hose here on the top and a drip pan hose portion there at the bottom. Same layout here. This one is a little bit bigger than the Dreo. The Dreo is a slightly shorter version. Is nice, but you got that as well. You can see here what the ratage is at. These both do have handles. The Hisense has them a little bit higher, which I do like. The Dreo has them a lot lower, which I don't like. They both have wheels casters on the bottom. When it comes to the cables, they're both very similar. The UL certified listings are also very similar as well. The Dreo is a 13 amp 120 VAC 60 Hz 1560 watt 1560 watts rated. The Hisense is 15 amps 120 VAC 60 Hz 1800 watts. So yes, the Hisense has a higher capacity by 2 amps and almost 240 watts higher voltage. As far as design and everything else like that, very, very similar. You can see here on the back here, this one has a locking mechanism. This one does not have a locking mechanism. They both have the drip pans. So this one's a little bit bigger and has an actual knob. This one doesn't have a knob, so it's harder. Hisense, yes, you're 13.2 miles per hour up close. Same with Dreo, but the push rate on the Dreo is actually further than the Hisense. All right, so we went ahead and broke down the cost. 950 watts for Dreo is on top. Hisense 1,050 watts on the bottom for Hisense. You get the wattage divided by 1,000. That'll give you your kilowatts. Dreo is 0.95. Hisense is 1.05. Multiply that by a time to get your time metric. Now on top we have 7.6 kilowatts an hour for Dreo. For Hisense we have 8.4 kilowatts an hour. Per day, that's $2.28 for Dreo, $15.96 for, it's either a 9 or a 4, I can't even read my own writing, but there we go, we got that per week, and $63.84 per month, $766.08 per year. That's hypothetical. If you were using this 8 hours a day, every single day for an entire year, that's the number you would get. If you use the same method, this is what it is for Hisense, $2.52 a day. $17.64 a week, $70.56 a month, and $846.72 a year. That's an $80 and $64 difference between the two on the max possible modes for the year. So that's just to take into account. They are very, very similar when it comes to it. It's about 100-watt difference between the Dreo and the Hisense. So with all that being said, you see the difference between Dreo and the difference between Hisense. If that $80, $90 price range for the Hisense makes sense for you, then get the Hisense. But if you like the way that Dreo offers a smaller compact form and you like the way that Dreo operates, then go with Dreo. My personal preference, Dreo being the one that I just recently got because it's going to get hot. So I made this video to help other people decide whether, to go for another brand like Hisense or any of the other ones, or Dreo. Personally, I like the Dreo version, so maybe we'll do more comparisons in the future to see which can outperform Dreo. I know the dual hose formats are starting to be more popular, so we're going to check out a dual hose format later in the future. And also, if you are curious about the Dreo after a year, I will be releasing that video within a month or two. Without further ado, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. We out.